What is your definition of friendship?
Same.
Next question. And when it happened, she was like, called it. And I was like, I didn't need you to do that.
Placing myself in a certain position in your life, whereas I actually am not in, what you are to me, I'm not to you.
Maybe you are open doesn't mean that they need to be open.
But this friendship where we became friends, and even when I got to high school, like people had nothing good to say about her. And I was like, you guys don't know her like I do. October the podcast is sponsored by Dreamstream. If you want to support us directly and gain access to ad-free versions of our show, please join us on the Dreamstream platform.
Hey guys, welcome back to October the podcast. My name is Buhle Lupindo and I'm never ever alone. I'm with my good friend Khanya Mweli. As you guys don't know or do know, this is a podcast about two Libra girls navigating their 20s with love, laughter, crying, emotional, anything else you can think about out there, just navigating our 20s. So today it's same old. We're pre-recording this, as you guys may know that. We've already shot something else. I know we've touched on friendships here before. When me and Khanya were discussing this topic, I said, I think we touched on it, but we didn't necessarily talk about it and be honest about our feelings with friendship and all those things. I think let me speak for myself. I've been through a very difficult journey when it comes to I've been through a very difficult journey when it comes to friends. I've learned so much. I also understand the importance of like friendships and how it's like your picked family. So I do take friendships very seriously because I'm very selective of the people that I bring into my space and the people that I pick that I'm like, I'm going to love. And a lot of the times, like, I take my friendships so seriously because now my friendships don't just end with just friendshipping. Like, you're going to meet my mom, you're going to meet my family. I literally take you inside my house. And for me to do that, a lot of the times I have to some sort of love you and trust you. So that's like the true definition of like how I friendship. My mom has always made it like that. We know all my mom's friends and she's kind of like, raised us to be like that. But and I think as umzali also, I think it's a good thing for your parents to know your friends so that I mean, I do feel like sometimes my parents have been unfair on how they observe my friends because they don't know the full story and I know them very well. But a lot of the times, like, my mom has been right about like a friend, but they're not good or they are good. Parents have that on lock, but parents should also allow us to pick our own friends and go through that process of that like journey. Being betrayed by friends or whatnot. Because I mean, I was betrayed by a friend that my mom had always called it, like. And when it happened, she was like, called it. And I was like, I didn't need you to do that. Uyamazi asibalisa isitori sakho. Uyamazi sasifunda sonke naye.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so
okay.
like I really take friends with all my heart because that's the type of love I know. That's the only relationship I knew for the longest time. Yeah. Before, like, I knew what a romantic relationship is or what another relationship is. But with that being said, like, I have a very good core group of friends right now, and for the longest time I've always had core friends. Friends is mahlakahlakana zezindibane nazo Joburg.
Big city life,
Zizzo easy. But other than that, I've maintained the same type of friends. What is your definition of friendship?
Same.
Next question.
I mean, same, like, chosen family, people who understand you, sort of have the same interests sometimes. sort of have the same core values. People you can relate with in a lot of different things, and some people you've gone on like similar journeys. Man, people you can enjoy life with and who are basically like a support system.
Yeah.
Whether it's like female or like male friends.
Oh yeah, hectic. Yes, when I think about friendships, I never think about male friends.
Because like male friends, hey, yeah, ikonamos.
Yeah, make
but people who just are in your corner.
Yeah.
So like definitely now I'm like I think over the years I was always someone who had like a whole lot of friends, and then as the cool like started becoming less and less, and now like my friendships have it's become like a smaller group of people, but people who are so like beautiful like inside and out, and it's just like I really appreciate the group of friends that I have right now. Like can't fault them, Shem, to be fair. Like I love you guys loads.
Yeah, I think there's something to be said about your friends that you have like in your adult era. Because I mean, I feel like those are the most testing years of your life.
Yeah.
It also feels like Koksa say, not that those friends or those friendships were not valid or anything else, but Kokdalwa man, like it's still easy. But now, like, to be a friend, you have to be very intentional.
Yes, definitely.
And have to be like, okay, cool, they need me. I need to listen to them. Whereas in Gokusa's cooler, like it was just like, are we going to the mall? Are we
same ways?
Like Lula. And even in varsity, it's like, oh, are we going to the club?
Yeah.
You know, the boys and drinking and going out, and never like, I mean, for me personally, it was like, as much as we spoke about things that are going on at home and not being okay, but it was never emphasized. So now that I've grown and this new era of mine, like my friendships are more intentional. Definitely. Like I don't want any friend that I can't confide in. Like, yes, I do have friends for
different reasons.
For different purposes. But when I'm speaking about my friends, like you must be someone who knows something about me that is so personal that I'm like, yeah, that was intentional for you to know. So that's how I am with my friendships right now. Yeah. So let's get into the topic of friendships. Deal breakers, non-deal breakers. Let's go. Point number 1. Go look. The least you can do.
Deal breaker. Deal breaker le.
Nam you deal breaker.
How much you deal breaker? Deal break. Why are you stealing my thunder? What?
My thunder. Okay, my first one.
Okay.
And
also, since I'm a yapper, I was like, okay, fine. If I have to talk, say less.
I think my first one is that, like, you must at least, like, be willing to listen to me, and also willing for me to be willing to listen to you. Sikhona ezinye zingafuna umamela.
Yeah.
But zifuna kumamelwe bona.
Okay.
It must be, it literally must be a two-way street. Like, I must feel like I'm receiving the same way. I must feel like I'm giving
the same way
you are.
Whatever,
maybe reciprocated.
That's so true, Buhle. I never thought of that, actually.
Literally.
And I just thought of a story. Can I go forth, or do you
Okay, I have a story.
Okay,
so, I struggling right now with a friend where I feel like I'm more of listening than they are listening to me, to a point where there's something that's happening in my life, and it's something dumb. Like, it's a playful situation that's happening right now. But I know for a fact that they know nothing about that situation because they never want to listen to me. So much so that, like, even ude nawe wafika, and you know more
about the story
than they do, but they should have known more because they are here. And that's when I started picking up man lona, like, and enjoy, because uhleli nje efona dimamele yena, but never my F, like, what's up with you? Like ithini into yakho, like kwenzeka ntoni, to a point where nama nisafuna uthetha ngobomi bam because you're not interested.
Yeah, that's so true. Because like, I had a friend now, but this was like in varsity where you used to literally AIK was brazy when I Buhle, to the point where avela change topic. Like it was that bad.
Unje.
Like literally, like you'd balisa something and she'd be like, yo, hey, please. And it got to the point where like it was so like exhausting because like all the time you'd have to listen to her and anyway. And I remember Futuzi how we had like sort of a fallout. It wasn't necessarily a fallout, more than we just stopped speaking.
Yeah.
And that was because like during COVID, I got into a relationship and everybody was like in different places in the country
world.
or whatever in the world. And then I got into a relationship and she was someone who was like always going into like different relationships and whatever. And then like Asbal said, but and always like is a story. Fine, I want to be 10. Then because now I was that person in the group who like never dated like in varsity, and then when I finally got into a relationship, she never even asked. Bye, but I see you. Oh, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, oh, when's out of curiosity, but hey, come on,
Yeah.
and then that's when I was like, you know what? Actually, this is where I draw the line. Like, this person always but sometimes I say umntu will even ask just for formality's sake. But they're not really asking to listen.
Yeah, interested when. It's so much so that thing is like such a trigger for me the minute, and I know like some people don't do it intentionally. Like it's not intentional, but the moment I feel like someone's not listening to me, I stop. And then I'll pin so much so that it triggers me so much when people don't listen to me, and I have to pull myself towards myself because it's that trauma. Like it's that trauma of like constantly growing up where I always felt like my friendships were one way, where again, like I know I have that personality where people feel like they can open up to me, but I was never given the room for me to like talk and like express myself how I feel, or like talk about a situation over and over again. And it just constantly always feels like, well, for me, it always feels like I'm the listener. Like, when is anyone going to listen to me? So nyani when someone doesn't listen to me, because I'm like, I know from the heart of my heart, I'm a good ass listener, and I will listen with like with umhla, and I'll give you my full attention. And even if I'm not giving you my full attention, or I feel like I'm not giving you my full attention, I'll give you a heads up. Type of thing. So for me, that type of friendship is very important, where it's not one-sided. It's like a two-way street. The minute I feel like it's one-sided, I feel like we have nothing in common.
Definitely.
Because trauma dampa kum constantly, and and but anyway, that's just me. Yeah.
Okay. My one is, okay, this one, like it's so deep already, but it's like not sharing your business. And now when I say this, I say this with a grain of salt, or what do you call it?
A pinch of salt.
Whatever the saying goes, like I say it with like caution, in the sense of like, you know, in friendships, you don't necessarily have to like, secrets.
Yeah.
Let's start there.
Yeah.
You don't have to tell about every single little detail about Ubomako.
Fair.
But I experienced, and I've told you about this, where I was in this group of friends, right? And we were people that grew up together, and like we were like super, super close, like to the point of like we called each other cousins, right?
Yeah.
And I always felt like the one person in the group, in fact, a lot of like, because okay, there was sort of like four of us, and I felt like most of the time the three of them, but specifically this one person, where isn't those like I'd always find out like through the grapevine that time, like like in Diabalis, but okay, this is like, you know, what's happening in my life and whatever, and we live in different cities, so like update. And anyway, who's a yapper, so and those are but I can't but with her, like I felt like she never told me anything about what was going on with her life, to the point that it got so bad that like when she like fell pregnant, like she told me like
Ooh,
so long after everybody in the group was told. And then after that, even when she gave birth, even before giving birth, when she had her baby shower, I was told, like, the baby shower was on the Sunday, and I was told on the Thursday while I was in Cape Town, and now on the phone answer, I'm like, hey, can we use your camera? There's a baby shower happening on the Sunday. Then I'm like, oh, there's a baby shower, and oh, I'm in Cape Town. So now I need to fly down to East London on the whim to come support this person, get baby shower yake. And then on top of that, when she gave birth to her child, I found out on Instagram.
Yo.
Do you get what I'm saying? And for me, like, that was rather hurtful because it was like the milestones that are happening in your life, like, you don't find it important to inform me.
Yes.
But then everybody else gets to know about it. And nah,
on my feet, the underdog, and I won't be beat. Turn the lights up now, welcome to the show. I ain't never
Are you a musician?
my eyes on the prize until I die. I'm gonna rise.
The Dream Stream Music Studio is now available on Sundays for only 295 rands per hour. It includes a 12-channel desk, a variety of mics and cables, electronic drum kit, and a laptop for recording. Terms and conditions apply and booking is essential. Contact studio at dreamstream.co.za for a site visit.
I feel like then I'm sort of like placing myself in a certain position in your life, whereas I actually am not in, you know what, you are to me, I'm not to you. And it so happened, and that's how the final like straw happened when it came to our relationship, is that they had like an important family event, and it so happened that I was in East London, and I didn't tell anyone that I was in East London because I was just going through my own things, and I was like, I just want to stay at home. Gala December. And then something was happening Kokwabo, and then she informed me simply because I said, oh, like December as actually, like, what are you guys up to? Let's do something. And she was like, oh, actually we can't really go out because the next day. So I'm shocked because I'm like, why wasn't I informed about this thing? And more especially because, like, it's more than us being friends. We're basically like family friends. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I was very hurt about that.
Of course.
And even when I arrived at that event, like, because there was a part of me I was like, should I go? Should I not? Because I was like, at this point, like, it's giving you taking me for a night.
Yeah.
But let me come anyway because in Dilap and I feel bad. And then I come and then I'm still treated like, you know, otherwise when I'm there. And then that's when I drew the line and I was like, you know what? I'm no longer gonna speak to these people and have these people in my life because I can't constantly feel like this, and especially because and especially because this is something I've addressed multiple times. And Umdu will be like, no, like, I'll do better, whatever, and then they don't. And I was like, actually, let me make your job easier. And then that was that. So there is a level of, like, not to be entitled to indaba zakho, but there is a level of, like, you should include
yes.
If you regard that person to a high standard or whatever, you should include them in, like, your different milestones.
No, I absolutely agree. Mdase, like, so much so, Mna, like, I will be vulnerable with you, hoping that you will see that I'm a safe space because I'm sharing something, like, vulnerable with you. And also, this is me understanding that I'm not owed that information at all. And I think maybe that's something that I am starting to learn. Just because maybe you are open doesn't mean that they need to be open. It's a truth that a pill that I've had to swallow that was difficult for me to swallow because I was placing people of importance because the information I was sharing with them was important
definitely
me. And, you know, I also experienced that. Well, yours was quite hectic, but mine was like a bit in the same surface level where I was sharing with a friend like my feelings and all these things in the hope that they would eventually open up to me. And the little that they did, it still didn't feel enough. Like, it almost felt like this is something that I could tell Khanya also, and it wouldn't be like much of a big a deal. But I didn't take. I just felt like, okay, cool. Maybe they will come around. They will come around. And I think what was so disappointing about that friendship is I did share my fears and these things that I was worried about, and they kind of related to that. And for them to finally practice being a friend in that space, they weren't nowhere to be found. And it was very hurtful because these are the things that I had spoken to them about, and being like, Yazi, I have a fear of feeling like I'm going to be left alone, and, you know, all these things. And then them saying, no, you are my friend and I'm picking you. And I also affirmed them, but listen, you also my friend and I'm picking you. And whatever happens, like, I got your back. And I think what hurt there was the fact that I know how I would have showed up for them if they were ever in the same position I was in, because I felt like maybe me and her have a same understanding and the same maybe we have a similar struggle. Like, I felt like there's no one else who can understand this better than him. And I placed them in such a high value in my friendship, thinking that they will understand it better. Kanti umuntu uzandisappointa. And I left there feeling very naked because I had shared my emotions and my fears and opening up and ngifuna umuntu ongathethi indaba zakhe, because wow, you leave friendships feeling exposed.
Because
and you feel like it wasn't a two-way street, and the only thing you can hope and pray is that they are a good person and so but at the same time you're like, damn,
exactly.
Why
and
was
like,
I vulnerable like that?
And the thing is, like, I even like deeped it and I was like, yes, guys, like, there is that allowance, obviously, of like, you don't have to spoil everything and whatever. But I mean, like, some things are like really visible for you to not tell me.
Yeah.
And in the guise of maybe you. Like, it's one thing, let's say, for example, if I were to be pregnant and not tell you, let's say, at like 3 months or however.
Yes.
But obviously when I start showing, like, it's a bit odd for me to like see you pregnant and you and I are friends, but then like you're not saying anything. And and also knowing me, I'm also that person that's sort of like respectful of other people. And do you get what I'm saying? Because it's like, it's their business, but at the same time it's like, God, like, you're moving a bit sketchy towards me. And also it also gives that thing of, do you even trust me, like, as your friend?
Yes.
Because it's like, if then maybe do you up.
Does it not make you feel like, because this is how it makes me feel like, does it not make you feel like you are doubting my character? And especially what I have presented to you. Because I showed you the best parts of me, but I'm this type of friend. Like, we're to a point where, okay, do want to see loyalty of some sort, and I'm always there for you, and I'm listening to you, and all these things. And then when you can't even like
do the same for me, then what do you think of me?
What do you think?
You know what I mean?
You don't trust me. It means everything that I showed you of me, you don't believe. Then it means, what am I doing here?
Exactly. And and I was like, you know what? Since I'm on this journey of like trying to sort of like better myself and be like a better version of me, and that also comes into play with like trying to navigate my like relationships, whether romantic, friendship, whatever, family, whatever the case may be. And I started also putting myself in situations where I feel like I'm deserving. Or like in the sense of like removing myself from situations where I feel like I'm undeserving of certain behaviors.
Yes.
And that was one of the very first, if you remember clearly, because that was one of the very first relationships that I practiced that thing where I was like, I deserve a friend that I can speak to about things and that can speak to me about things. And this friendship is not that friendship.
Yes.
And I deserve to be in a space where I'm at peace. And the best thing is for me to not be in those friendships and not force myself to withstand these emotions.
Yes.
Because sometimes, like, we make our lives difficult by trying to like navigate things and trying to paint them in but it's point blank period but aniko compatible and that's okay. And rather leave that situation and find other people who are gonna give you those things. And for me, not even to compare, but to compare the situation where I can compare them to you, for example, where I'm like, I get those things from you, so why must I stick it through with who have been friends with for millions of years and they're still not giving me that? So
yes,
let me focus and nurture these friendships that are giving me those things. You know what I mean? So that's the decision.
No, 100%. I don't know what else to add to that because I'm like, so that's literally okay. My other deal breakers is the minute I feel unsafe and uneasy and unsecure with my information, I know that's a deal breaker for me.
Ooh.
And that stems from when you can just tell someone is jealous. And also I've learned to pick up like what my people who want the best from me, when they say, "Bana, that person doesn't want the best for you." And a lot of the times I've gotten into friendships and into situations where actions is like where I don't place myself first and be like, actually, despite whatever they're going through, like, are they a positive impact in my life? Because but you can tell they have good intentions for you. Besides like how they feel and how they act. Whereas an Goku is so into themselves that they can't even separate what they are going through to be at least happy for you.
For you, definitely.
And I always accepted people's behaviors by saying, no man, we are going through a lot of things, and downsize or downplay my things.
Jealous,
exactly,
acting out of
and they're acting out of this, and that's for me has been one of the things where that's a fucking deal breaker for me.
Definitely,
and
babe.
Not only because I don't think you're a good person or I don't think you want the best for me, but because I'm protecting myself.
Definitely.
And I'm picking myself in that situation.
Don't want what's best for you.
They don't.
And I say, like, as much as, you know, these things happen, but maybe they don't happen like as often where born by here asana like lechomi because I had a friend who I was like friends with like throughout high school and oh yes, remember I was gonna balisa about this but then we got sidetracked and whatever. But this friendship where we became friends, and even when I got to high school, like people had nothing good to say about her, and I was like, oh, you guys don't know her like I do, kind of thing. But it sort of like kept on manifesting itself. And I'd always like make excuses and whatnot and whatever. And even people in my family like would say stuff about her, and I'd be like, who are you two guys and whatever? Because in other ways she would excel, but there was just this one thing where I felt like she was just so like sort of malicious and had a lot of like animosity and a lot of jealousy issues like there, you know? And then there was this defining moment because I say, yo, she used to do the weirdest thing where like whenever like I date someone, like she'd bash that person, and then somewhere towards like the middle of the relationship, like she'd sort of become like a bit obsessed with that person. Like it was so weird, man. Sometimes like movies. Sometimes like movies, but I man when you get what I'm saying? And then it so happened that this one time, like she did that, but she did it like live jive kind of situation where she was like standing on business that she really wanted this guy, and she hated the fact that this guy wanted me. And then I heard through the grapevine that she cornered this guy on some like, what's so special about Hukoli that I don't have. And I'm thinking like, oh my God, like I never asked this guy to want me. So like, why you odd?
Ew.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Also, why would you?
Yes.
That's the thing. Actually, like I hate
exactly as a banter. Come on. And the thing is now, like that was definitely a defining moment, and it's not a thing of like, oh, Siluswe Indod. It was just a very big defining moment that was a big story or like a big
Deal breaker.
It was a deal breaker actually, but because I remember Mdase. Actually, I remember a very big moment in my life where I had cut her off because in high school, because when I made Head Girl, she was literally the singular person who didn't say congratulations to me.
Oh, I know friends like that.
Like what nix. That's like abantu Twitter, people who don't like, not that people don't know me, but who don't go to school with me. Whatever. I mean, my friends, like people were like, oh, congrats, and I say whatever, happy for you, whatever. She was literally the only person, and this is a person who was in my friendship group. And then go and cut her off, and then how we made up was that one paleli letter. But I'm so sorry, whatever, I didn't mean to apala wethu leso story yakhe forgive, and then kanti uzamane niphinda.
Oh,
no,
bring her closer.
Yes, and she'd make like comments when Buhle like about me. Yeah, man, like in front of people. Because when showing me that same stuff, like in front of people, is
who
fine.
badmouth you to look good.
Yes, like in front of people, and it's like, why are you saying that?
Yeah,
like,
literally.
It's like who will like umbalisele into, and then go xa ibona abantu vela my man ngitheni ngavele ndithethe land.
Me.
No, but not that, because that's like banter, like deep, like deep, man. In that particular situation, that's gonna make you look bad.
Yeah,
and it's like, why are you doing
your
that?
information is not safe with her.
Yeah, so now I definitely get you when you feel like a vibe.
Yeah, vibe.
Where there's also like a sense of like hate and like jealousy and wanting what I have.
Yeah, dude, I not. It was a different story. I don't think that person wanted necessarily what I had, but I think they were put in a position where it's not about them anymore, and I think they grew to resent me. This is me trying to make sense of why they treated me the way they treated me. It's she was one of my best friends from like high school. I loved her to bits. She was one of the few people where our banter was.
Need a photo studio? The Dream Stream Photo Studio includes a 2.7-meter PVC backdrop in black and white and is available for only 115 rands per hour. You can also rent a Canon R6 and lights. All rentals are for studio use only. Terms and conditions apply. Contact studio at dreamstream.co.za.
Thank you, Ben, for coming out tonight. My name is Sam Augustin.
Similar to me and you. We were the same. Like, she made me laugh. I made her laugh. Like, our banter was like amazing. Like, it was so great. And I think, yes, we did grow apart in terms of like me moving to Joburg and them going to a school in the Eastern Cape. And I remember the first defining moments where I was like, but because, you know, when you have history with someone, you tend to overlook a lot of things. And you're like, you know what, like I saw nguye lowana. The first ever when I was still like, you know, quote unquote blowing up on YouTube, I threw a meet and greet, like a small little thing where at restaurant, I forgot, it's some restaurant where I wrote on my stories, if you guys want to come have a drink with me, like nje is chilled, whatever. Dambona up about Ufani because she wanted the attention to be about her, where she was starting to make fun of like my subscribers, my hair, like type of thing. And in my head, I'm like, can't you see the bigger picture here of like what's going on?
Yeah,
like,
that people are supporting you and love what you do,
loving what I do. Like, why can't you see the positive of this thing? Then Landoba, okay, October, one and this fun. Then that you know what? Okay, it's fine. Because me and her have that little banter that we have with ourselves, with each other. Then man, I started feeling like she doesn't support me. And where you feel like uyakumonela. And I always tried to like overlook that because I was like, we've come so far, man.
Yeah.
There's absolutely no way. And in my head, I thought maybe it's the distance and she's a bit jealous, which is fair because there were things that were happening in her life that I was jealous about, where I was like, I'm not sharing these moments with my quote unquote best friend. Little did I know. The last time I spoke to that girl is when I was going through a difficult time and we were both going through a difficult time. And we decided, okay, cool, because we're both going through a difficult time, let's go out. When we went out, I wanted to drive my mom's car back home because now the night was becoming big and I didn't want for me to have this responsibility of my mom's car. So let me quickly drop it off. And I took one of my really good guy friends who also drives and doesn't drink to take the car home. Fine, sithathe. Then I inform her, I'm like, okay, mntase, like, sadroba le moto sikhawulezise sibuye, and so much so sithenge nebhotile, so there's something to look forward to come back, yabo. Fine, me and my guy friend drop off the car and then we Uber back to where we were because he had left his car there. Xa si-Uber back, mntase, ndiyabona uba kutshintshe imood apha, like she's not the same, she's a bit sulky or whatever. So I'm like, you know what? Actually, I feel like this is gonna not be a good night anymore because I can feel her vibe. And I'm not gonna go into detail what I thought was happening, but I just could feel her vibe. So much so my guy friend was like, hey, man, Buhle, I don't even drink, let me leave. Because my guy friend could also feel the vibe, but he couldn't do it tense or quite up. Hey, must go to. And luckily where we went to that place, it's a place where we can take the bottle with us, so it wasn't a waste where we had to sit down and finish this thing. Hey, she goes off on a rant. But mind you, what I didn't mention is that she was there with her ex-partner of the time. So in my head, I'm like, no, but I don't know how, I don't know where, but no, but fine, and we're going home. And this girl started beating me. She started beating me for no reason. And the thing is, I'm sober and I know she's not because I left them drinking. So whatever sober level I am, I'm more sober than her.
Yeah.
And I need to be the one on engqondo. And also you need to know this is my best friend. So nothing in my brain is saying mandizphindizele more than understanding what the hell is going on. That's it. So much so it created such a big commotion and such a big commotion in the street that I was living it. She beat me. She beat the boyfriend. Hey, the boyfriend naye he's trying to, oh, what a good man that man actually, because I can imagine another violent man in that situation would have been so violent towards her, but he literally had to hold her and hold her arms and like calm her down while this man is getting punches that are so terrible, so much so like he would let go and then she would be set free and then start beating me. And and I'm trying to call her name. It's almost like she was possessed. I'm trying to stop her.
Puma. Look at me. It's not you.
It's not the real you. It's not the real you. And people ask me all the time, but and all these things.
No, that's
the thing is,
crazy
guys,
also,
it's a different thing when you're fighting someone you don't know. Because you're like, and I'm teaching you a lesson. And it's a different thing when you're fighting someone you love. You are one in disbelief this thing is happening to you. And number two, you in that thing where you're trying to understand what the fuck is going on.
It's funny. I need to know.
What? Dogga? It's my cool. I see Dolores. Wait. And na akho mntu noyi-one ocinga uba simbethe anye le ntombazana sompakanyele anye nase andithi kuwe sasidube ezobayithula nomfana. Akadumbange yami itshomi bethe yanya ababayithule sayihleka bantu kubuhlungu yo andithi kuli hey yandinyathe. So now I'm trying to stop her.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So hey, then confused. Yeah, I get into the house. I tell my sister, and my sister's also very confused. Like, what happened? Like till this day, my sister's like, did you do any? I'm like, I promise you, I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't say anything. I got there, and this girl was like this. My sister took a broom, like a stick of. Like uchayel waphuma akamdonora man.
Yay, and in a picture, ifuna camera le.
Police, it was so bad. It was so bad. Police. I had to call her mom and be like, and there's a mambis that like I have to open it. You don't lay in. And now when I look back, I'm like, she had no reason to do that, but
it's like pent up, and that's the thing. That's why I even brought up the whole thing, that incident with my friend. But it resulted in me thinking like things of, why
in Bulan? That girl climbed on top of me and bashed my head like this.
And then you told
on
me
the
this
pavement.
I remember when you told me this part.
I'd love to put the pictures for you guys to see how I looked. Maybe on the day when this podcast comes out, you guys can go on my stories. She's up. She's up. She really is up. Just say one day, mind you.
I remember when you showed me the pictures.
Dandinjani. My mom couldn't believe it. Could not believe it. Until this day, my mom and my sister were so angry at me in protecting her because they were like, there's no way.
There's no way.
And on top of that, I very much have a campaign with Netflix to shoot. And so go heartbreaking. Heartbreaking. Campaign. And I need this money. So, when you feel like your friend hates you,
believe that feeling.
Because they will absolutely kill you.
They will harm you. No, definitely. They really will.
Because one mistake, I hit my head wrong. Maybe it was not her intentions. I could have died. I could have died the way she was hitting me.
Some sort of damage of some sort.
So, you deal breaker, and can't even a sense of ingathi khona umona.
Hey guys, and and like sometimes you want to see the best in people and you want to believe that that doesn't exist, that ichomi is like molela, but they can. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
But friends who prioritize other people over me.
Don't you open up the window.
And remember, I had that friend who I considered my best friend, and then I stopped speaking to him, and then he was like there were multiple issues within that relationship, right? But one of the biggest ones was actually, that's not one of the biggest ones, but this was also an issue I had with him where I felt as though he prioritized like other people over me. And by the time I even stopped speaking to him, I had enough, like, because it was a thing of like, a lot of the times, Mosimna, I wasn't really in East London, you know, over the years. I was in Cape Town at some stage, I was in Joburg and whatever. But whenever I'd come back, let's say now December, like we'd hardly see each other. Mind you, we're best friends. Because now to hang out with his other friends.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And then it made me feel some type of way because it's a feeling that I had felt like from other friendships.
Yeah.
For example, the group that I was talking about where I felt like I was always that friend that was like, whatever.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like prioritized outside of me.
Yeah.
So for me, that's a very big trigger.
That's a huge ass trigger because it goes back to Landaba. You feel like, detain.
Yeah.
Did I not give you like a good amount of like loyalty and love to show you that I want the best for you.
Yeah.
And ubakhetha njani abanye ubakhathalele.
Xa wethu xa
Mna
basana mna
ndingakhethwanga.
xatywe i-peanut butter kaloku.
Uyadika. Ngoba i-peanut butter uyadika.
Basana uthe xa ndifuna uthe yhu.
Kubani Khanya?
Khanya, yhu. Uncle. No, dead ass, mdase, like literally. And like, remember even when we spoke about like the whole birthday party thing that, we didn't speak about it on the podcast, did we?
I think we did when we were just touching. I don't recall.
Yeah, when I had a friend who like didn't invite me to their birthday party.
Yes.
And then I actually asked them about it like in December.
Yes.
Yeah. And I asked them about it in December and I was like, what happened with that? And she was like, no, like.
Is it the friend that I think it is?
It's the friend of the friend, but who's my friend.
Okay.
And then remember when I thought it was like a conspiracy between them? Remember,
Yes.
And then I asked her about it and I was like, oh, like what happened, you know? And then she was like, no, it was like she was going through some things and like it was like a spur of the moment or whatever kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I get it. But then it sort of like kind of continued happening where she was having special moments in her life and she wasn't like including me or inviting me, you know, in these important things that were happening in her life and prioritizing, I guess, other people. And I was like, you know what? Actually, like I've taken the hint, but I'm not as important to you as, you know, I'd like to be, and that's okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah. I also have a very recent friend who I felt like they prioritize another friend over me. And in what annoyed me about that person is that when I asked them, they would kind of like gaslight me and be like, no, I'm like always on your side and all these things. And I was like, no, if you are on my side, I would feel that. Like, I don't feel like you're on my side. And I'm irritated about that particular friendship is that when I asked her, but like, actually, I feel you. Like, I don't feel you, but I don't feel you. What's happening? They were like, no, I know your side. I'm like, you don't know my side. You stop going around saying you know how I'm feeling and what I'm going through when you've never even given me a chance. Like, you didn't even give you a chance to be my friend and like try to understand like where I'm coming from. And then now I must pretend like everything is okay when it's not. And then when I raised that up, they had the audacity to say to me, but you don't know what I'm going through. And I'm like, fair, people are going through their own things, but you never open up and say to me that these are the things that you want to talk about. And this ties back to Landaba, friendships that don't want to give in information, because okay, maybe when I and I'm not gonna force information out of you. But now you can't throw that in my face and say I'm also going through some shit, but you're not opening up that conversation with me to be there for you. And so much so I was even saying, but it's even perfect that we are Goa, because it's our Goa, so by two, you're gonna vent with what you're going through, I'm gonna vent with what you're going through. But they don't actually want to have to be my friend. You know what? I'm not gonna now.
My feet, the underdog, and I won't be beat. Turn the lights up now, welcome to the show. I ain't never
Are you a musician?
I know. My eyes on the prize until I die. I'm gonna rise like
The Dream Stream Music Studio is now available on Sundays for only 295 rands per hour.
we work for a fall in line. We gon' give it all until the end, until the end of time.
It includes a 12-channel desk, a variety of mics and cables, electronic drum kit, and a laptop for recording. Terms and conditions apply and booking is essential. Contact studio at dreamstream.co.za for a site visit.
Share with you like what I'm going through or what I'm like feeling. If you don't even, you're not even showing any interest, then I was like, okay, Lando Yam of placing people in high value of my friendships and not realizing, but you are their friend, but they're not your friend.
Exactly. No, say like I even had okay, there's two things I'm gonna talk about here. I had a friendship that like it was someone I was close to and whatever. And this was someone that, she'd share like a lot of what was happening in her life and same, right? And then it disconnected when she had a job and she was moving overseas and she didn't tell me about it. I found out on her story. And when I find out on her story, she's busy thanking her other friend, but oh, thank you so much, friend, for whatever the case may be. So I'm touched because I'm like, oh, I am touched because you usually tell me things, number one. Number two, it's also giving, bana. Awukhathali, because you can't be. It's one thing for me to not tell you, but oh, I've gotten a job, I'm moving to, let's say, like eGhini or whatever. Ndiyakwazi ufika eGhini at least ukubalisela, but ndihlala eGhini ngoku, yabo. But it's another thing for me to be moving to a different country, to be going to a different country.
Yeah.
And I'll need a space, bana, to say, my last goodbyes and whatever the case may be. And kwenzeka lonto. Ndathula ndathi cwaka mntase, umntu came back from said country, came back. Wahlala mntase ukhe wayigqiba 2 weeks. Ndiyabona mos ezitorini ba umntu was back in SA, kwatsha kwacima. Then ke ngoku thuzi. Xa ibona bana ndithule and whatever. Then randomly, like, she hits me up. And then she's like, "Mana yo ngabile nto just get like, but you're the one."
Aibo, you set the pace.
You get what I'm saying? And ke ngoku, it so happened that sometime last year, I think it was like in December, I wrote like something on Instagram because I was feeling this so deeply, where I was like, I've started practicing like meeting people where they meet me. Yes. Literally, like, if you're giving 10%, I'm giving 10%. If you're giving 0, I'm giving 0. If you're giving 50, I'm giving 50, because I've grown wary of being that friend that's giving 80, you give her 50.
Yep.
Because obviously it makes you feel like shit, and it makes me feel like, oh, nah, I'm not worth it to be that friend where Umdu is gonna meet me where I'm at, and like, we have a good friendship. And I'm like, like, oh my God, like, I'm talking about a crumb of your friendship. No. If you want to be my friend, you're gonna be here and you're gonna do what's right.
Yeah.
If you don't want to, then that's on period.
And that's on period.
And remember, I said to you, like, it even so happened that, like, I like, friendships sort of started dialing down when I stopped being that friend as well. Where it's like, oh, okay, now then you start saying, but okay, so you were relying on me to keep this friendship afloat.
Yes.
No,
literally, I lost friends like that. And you know what? Good shot. Because fuck off.
Dead weight to sign.
Because I realized, man, this friendship was only working because I was putting in the effort.
Exactly.
And not because it was a two-way street. I was the one saying, hey, let's hang out. I was the one, hey, I should have seen the red flags from then. Twitter, they don't have friends. Got to corner.
Do not say that. When I'm here for you, I'm whatever. Then you go and tweet about, oh, I don't have friends. What do you mean? That's okay.
That's
it. Have friends.
I literally
just respectful, guys.
It was so unfair to me. It was so unfair to whoever was in her life, because I even like expressed that to them. I was like, what makes you feel? And then they would project their insecurities on me and say, no, you have all these other people. I just feel like I don't have my own friends. I'm like, that's it. These people, 10 friends compared to one good friend is, you still have 10 friends. And I'm out here opening myself up to you, saying, Gubana, listen, anything that you want to do, I can do it more with the 10 friends that you're seeking. But then I realized, no, man, this person wanted friends that are not you. Not you. And I realized bendizifaka kumuntu ndithi makabe ichomi yakhe, but akafuna uba ichomi yam. And I think it goes back to Lando Yamba. The thing is, when I open up to you and I'm very vulnerable with you, I'm so quick to think you're my friend, because I don't just do that with anyone. And you know what? She also had her own good qualities that I did enjoy. I just didn't enjoy how I was treated as a friend in that relationship. And maybe I also did some fucked up shit that I don't know about in that friendship. But at the same time, I just felt like I was showing up and showing off. I have no terrible things to say about that friendship in terms of like, I didn't pull my weight. I pulled my weight in that friendship. So man, like, I absolutely absolutely meet people where they meet me.
Yeah.
100%. Kaldenenye.
Okay, so friends who want to be like the Beyonce of the group.
I don't mind that.
Nah, do you know what I
As
mean
long
by
as,
that?
okay, yeah.
As in, like, who don't want things to happen for other people and who want things to happen just for them. And I've experienced that
yeah,
twice.
nah.
And this was more so in varsity than it was in Indolento. Gogo sesibadala and whatever.
Yeah.
Where it was like one of those where something simple when Buhle, like going out and ngase kufunwa yena yedwa.
Hi.
If akafuna uzofuna ugoduka.
Hi.
I promise you.
Hi.
No, like dead ass. And where it must like bana the show must always the show must always be running, but it must be around her. And even when we were like in a group and we had a group chat, it was always like her. Nothing. Whatever you have going on is not important.
It's not important.
We need to if we want to go out, you a saint. If wena you a saint, you throw your toys out of the cart.
That. I thought,
and for me, I'm never having that ever again.
I get that. I thought you were talking about the rotation of power in groups, because ukubone some like I don't mind that you being the Beyonce of the group and yani ngalo mina ube nguwena.
Oh, fair, yes.
Like, you know what?
No, that's fine.
The rotation of
that's
power,
fine.
like
yes.
that. Maybe some days I'm like, actually, this is my season.
Yes,
like, it's about me.
That's fine.
I don't mind
but
that.
People wanted to be their time and their season and their everything all the time.
All the time.
And they get upset. And they get upset when it's like, oh, okay, like I've also got something going on, or I want to make a decision in this regard.
Two-way street thing.
This day, like I'm probably gonna be the cute one or whatever. And that's it, literally, and to the point where it so happened that that's it, like literally, like she wanted, and I think in the group chat there was a little bit of like, they were kind of licking ass.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it was annoying because I always used to put my foot down and I'm like if she's inviting us to her place, I'd be like, no, I'm not coming.
Oh,
and I put it straightforward.
Do you think it came across no more?
Maybe, I don't know. But for me, it used to annoy me because because and whatever the case may be. And I think also there was that little bit with her. There was also like a little bit of a dynamic of she was dating this like moneyed nigga, and the girlies now were like and now whatever she says goes, and it's like shit le. And on top of the fact that Lindo did no, but like dead ass. I don't remember the story. Oh my god, that story was actually ill. Because then wafuna moved in the group, then wafuna and then I fold. Why? And then ufuna usiphatha kwakulendlu. Hey, njani
ngo? Let's just fair.
How? What the hell?
And it's if we
ngolileyo and benza mana ndibringa apha. Kuthanda ufuna usiphatha kulendlu le ndoda yayindinqwasile. Come there, that's ndayifuna. Like, what the fuck? And also the first time I went to that, I was the one who introduced them.
I think he learned him guy.
Like, you know? But that's a sidetrack. I was just being shady with that. To be fair, just needed to razzle that a little bit. But like, you know what I mean? So it's like, hey, bo, dude, like, kutheni always sana makhali isicathulo sakho. That nyanba. Sana, you throw your toys out of the cart.
Yeah.
Asifuna ukwenza lento ifuna ukwenziwa nguwe. Asifuni yonke into amanzi ngawe. You are akasimele sana.
Yo.
Hayi wayesile shame. To the point where I had this guy friend. This rich boy, shame, and nice, a sweetheart. So we'd always like go over to this guy friend's place, right? Shame, like sometimes I was invite, guys, come over for the weekend. Yeah, oh boy, shame. And rich more so like kwakhe jonga ifridge
story sale guy friend yakho nami ndinazo story sale guy friend yakho
hayi
a prominent guy friend.
Oh my god, not baninzi, but like I have a few guy friends. No man,
ulo nanisiya kuye Rosebank lo wa love of your life.
No akayo guy friend kaloku yena Not yet. No, oh, not him. Oh, you do know him. No, this was a friend for real. So we'd always go over to this friend's house and whatever. And like this friend, why in a bar? Oh, so not a bar, but like he always had like drinks, man, and hubbly. And the fridge was always packed. Like, do what you want. So it's kind of long. And then, now she started like vibing with a guy friend, right? But this guy friend is my friend. But they so happened to get introduced because of me.
Yeah.
Then they start vibing with this guy friend. Okay, bye bye. Hi. Hi. Slambile. And noma slambile aseba we gluttonness. Sifuna utyi base, sifuna ukhoze bacon zalapha. Like and siqhelile, that's the thing. Kutheni ngoku usipizza?
There's no mama usigadleyo goku.
Like yonke into man, why you guys?
Sasemzini wakho right now man. Ngenxa ibitho yakuphelile ngoku. Ngoba abantu bazaphela ngoku.
Zaphela ko his favors ngoku. Son, definitely I'm not go beyond of the droop. Anyway, another point is friends who treat other friends like shit.
Oh, I inherit beef because of that.
Yes, I actually had another point about the whole inheriting beef thing.
Yeah, I inherit beef because of that.
There's a flip side to the story where I've found that I feel like I like to take myself out of situations where friends don't I'm not saying, I feel like it's harsh to say inherit my beef, but see the story for what it is.
Yeah.
And don't keep people around that have harmed me.
Yeah.
It makes my life difficult and it makes our relationship difficult.
And I don't trust you with my
I don't trust you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Because I've got two stories that I can also balisa about that. Where I once fell out. We were a group of girls and I fell out with the one girl in the group, right? And the reason was valid. And some stories in that say, there's no two sides up. It be wrong,
yeah.
And then the other friend said to me, that's when I first encountered this whole inheriting beef thing. And she was like, no, unfortunately, we experience people differently. Right? Experience people differently and whatever. So I got some cut off, whatever. Fine. We still continue being friends. I wasn't friends with the other girl. Life. Then when she had a fallout with another friend, ndingatsho manana chomi because bona bafole out. Ndamkhumbuza ke mna ndathi awulibele wena ngo-2018 ngokuwawuthe wena bana there's no need.
You're experiencing people differently.
You experience people differently. So kutheni ke ngoku mna funeka ndiyenzele wena loo nto leyo. And on top of the fact that wena ke iwase yakho case because you were wrong.
Yeah.
Book.
Yeah.
And that was that whole drama that happened on like Twitter and social media and whatever. Yes. And in that situation, this was a situation of, this is between a friend I was friends with for like 13 years, who I'm like basically consider as one of my best friends, and a friend I've been friends with since high school, but who I also consider as like one of my closest friends. And they have a fallout, but I can clearly see where the problem is here.
Yeah.
And it's with the person that I've been friends with for 13 years.
Yeah.
And this is tool and it's just because I've been friends with you longer. No. You were wrong for doing A, B, C, and D, and I need to call you out.
Yeah.
And how you receive that, and yes. And that's where the breakdown of the relationship happened.
Yeah.
And I knew, man, at the end of the day, I'm not going to watch my friend get taken apart by Lomto and who's spreading lies about them and like, and what I think when Buhle, why I was so sensitive about that story and that situation is the fact that I understood that this particular friend, who doesn't necessarily know how to defend themselves, number one, who has their own struggles with like mental health and just health in general. And kengoku, for you to number one, to talk about them on social media, number two, and then to bring your friends in to bully her, and for her to end up in hospital because of your bullying, that's when I said,
no.
I'm not going to watch this happen. When is it but you have this whatever way of handling things, And on top of the fact that une vendetta, because it's got nothing to do with the story at hand more than une agenda.
I knew there was nothing to do with the story at the hand because she wrote me in and something. I said,
Oh, I remember.
fight that fight. Don't rope me in.
You said,
I let you say
You're
that.
not
I
a
said,
fan.
I'm going to buy a stage. But let's discuss it
lento. And I said, it pissed me off because it became so bad when Buhle where kwaropa in izinto ezingangeni yo to la
Yes.
situation but if anibana ndenze into kuwe when you bring it up you say ba you hey wethu uyathanda namadoda ke lo mntana ingenaphi lonto leyo. And to go and put it on YouTube, that's insane.
That's insane as a story time. When
And
you know there's another side.
Exactly.
That's insane.
And girl, on top of that, Mdase, I remember when I confronted her and I was like, Mdase, Koda, I know you. Like we've been friends like for so long. I mean, when's the like tell me like what's happening? Like why are you acting this way? What you don't know me. Oh, ban, I'm not gonna say her friends. Oh, ban,
Know me.
That gone by here.
Unyansile, you didn't know her.
That's
Why unyansile?
it.
Unyansile.
Uxoba mna wablocka mna, wablocka the-cousins, wablocka ijonga everyone
I think I'm
wayinto
also
edibene nam.
blocked. Yeah.
Anyone that had anything to do with me, wamhlaba ublock. Yabe iphelile into yethu norapeleng. And then ke ngoku, so many years later, last year, remember what she did?
Yep. She tried to rope you back in.
We story that has
Nothing to do with you.
me.
Usabambe lanto.
Sabambe lanto. Ya ngoku ya west like ayibo Mdase yaphela nje lanto.
Ay, Paul.
And you're just mad that I exposed you.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
And
You're mad that I exposed you. Now you're trying to and nale accomplice yakho ngumntu kuthuthe waziwayo ba ubhanxekile. Wena kwayi red flag wena niba uchomene nalo mntu. So, I feel like season 2 of this podcast.
That's the beast.
Yay! Aye.
Because they're up.
We're not holding back. We're not holding back. But yeah, we too. Lando inherit beef sometimes.
Yeah, I also fucking inherit beef. Not only because I feel like the situation is not fixable, but how you handle the situation tells me a lot on how you gonna handle me as a friend.
Exactly.
So like how you talk to people, I always take that in. I'm like, oh, ngumdonje. Nah, wait. I don't want that
in my life.
because
definitely.
I know not, but I can be very like mutual in situations, and I can be very all these things. But if I wrong, are wrong, and I won't lie to you. And that's the thing. It's not a one-way street. This thing. I want you to do that to me, but I got a chum.
Wrong, exactly.
Then to be like, damn, really?
Yeah.
Because I'm the type of person who goes to my friends, tell them a situation, and I'm like, can't now wrong. I like taking accountability because it makes me a better person, and it makes me learn on how to treat people better. So I never understand when people don't think of it like that, or if they don't look at it and like that. So when you were wrong in a situation, I expect you to at least know that you were wrong, maybe apologize, and maybe we can work through it. But if you can't, I'm inheriting. I don't care how long we've been friends, I'm inheriting that beef 100%.
And do you know what? This made me just think of something how sometimes friends tell you situations where they fucked up, or tell other friends maybe situations where they fucked up. They won't, or they'll tell you a diluted version.
Yes.
Or because and that's something that I experienced with someone that's close to me, but it's not like it's not a friend.
Yeah.
But she was like, sometimes she doesn't tell me things because she knows I'm gonna tell her the truth.
Oh yeah, I said that to my best friend Ukulu. I said I take time telling you things because you don't live in my delusion. Delusion. When I want the real, I call that girl.
Okay, to be fair, sometimes you don't want you do want the reality, but not now.
Yeah, yes.
Keep it.
This is what I said to her. I said, I prolong telling you things because I need to live in this delusion since I figure it out what's happening. And not because I don't trust my other friends to be real with me, but I feel like they have that thing. But okay, maybe what Buhle needs right now is a little bit of delusion to make this thing work. Whereas then she's blunt and real, and she prides herself with that.
Yeah.
So much so, shame, man. You know, she has been working on it. She's like, do you want me more delusional? I said, no, I have enough delusional friends.
You have enough. As I told me that
I need you to be real.
You.
So yeah, no, I
Nah, but sometimes it's annoying because some people do that thing to like cover themselves up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where umntu
Ungcolile.
kuwe uzawuza ngenye angle because akayifuni inyaniso ngafuna uxelela uba hayi mntase burongo.
Yeah.
And instead they will, you know, like nyonyoba
Yes.
and, you know, like be weird and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think basically I'm sure we've covered.
To wrap it up, one more. Just to finish it up.
Did I say the one of speak to you whenever they feel like it?
Oh yeah, no, you didn't.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, that goes back to umntu ofuna uthetha ngaye. Only when they feel like
oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have friendships like that where I have a friend who will call me and and then I know that's not coming from a bad place, but they just need to vent, and you do that sometimes also. And then they drop the phone. I know 2 days later you're gonna call where you're gonna be like, oh, I get Effie, now solve Alando. Anyway, where I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Like, I don't mind that. Like, you can call me and make it about you that moment, that second, or whatever. And then as long as I know that you are some sort of interested in my life,
what's going on,
and most of my friends do, you know, talk about themselves, and they do come back and check in and be like, actually, yes, I owe you a phone call to catch up on you. And that's what me and Busisiwe do, where she just calls me, she vents, because sometimes she just needs an outlet, and I will listen to her and be like, hey, what's your friend, whatever. And I know she'll call me back 2 days later and be like, oh, I finally finished that assignment that I was complaining about.
What's up with you?
What's up with you?
Story?
Which is fine. But yo, phone with that one friend. Ufona nje xa efuna uthetha ngaye and ngento zakhe. Literally.
Down, get bad friends this year,
2024,
girl.
Yeah. So yeah, to wrap it up, that's all we have to say. Just make sure that, you know, you the friend that you would want somebody else to be a friend to. And also, I think it's okay to have friends for different things. You can have your close, you can have your going out friends, but meet people where they meet you. If they give you 50%, take 50%. And now go 50%. If they give you 20, take 20. And also another thing I've recently learned is transparency of where my friends are. Like, I tell all my friends, but okay, I want to go when you're my close friend. And it's up to them to reject that or not, so that they know that that's their responsibility in my life. But I don't hardly say that to everyone. But I make sure that I communicate when someone is my friend, because I don't want to ever be in the same situation where I'm unsure of why someone is not supporting me or why someone's not there for me. And I thought that we were friends. Kanti, I was only a day friend and they were not my friend. So that's the last words from me. And you?
Yeah, basically, I don't think I have anything else.
As always. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below your friendship deal breakers. Comment down below your friendship stories. Maybe in the next season, actually, by the time this comes out, the next season we'll read your guys' stories and we can elaborate more on those conversations. Don't forget to tag us on all social media platforms, whether you tag me or you tag Khanya, it doesn't matter. And also October the podcast on all social media platforms. Yes, that's all with love and laughter.
I actually want to say, but also comment below and tell us like how you're feeling about us being more open this season.
Yeah, in our we really are more open, we're more comfortable.
How are you guys feeling about that? And
with love and laughter and everything above the sun. Love you so much. Bye.